your data, what is the kind of situation or what are the numbers that relate to rejection of claims? How many claims get rejected on average?
Okay, so I think first of all, thank you, Alex, for having me on the show, and I think it's absolutely important to talk more about health insurance as such. See, I think largely what we've seen is, at least as per our data, 94 to 95% claims get approved. Obviously 5-6% claims do not get approved, and largely there are a couple of reasons, and this number may vary from an insurance company to insurance company. So I think that's our data. I would want to stress more about why do claims get rejected. So there are a couple of reasons for why claims can get rejected, and then what should a person do to ensure that the claim does not get rejected. So I think the first and the foremost reason, and it is a large reason enough, is when a claim is made during a waiting period or is not as per the policy terms and conditions. So what I mean by that is, for example, my health insurance policy has a 3-year waiting period in that for a pre-existing disease. Example, I'm suffering from heart-related ailment. Now, within those 3 years, if I go and claim related to heart, then automatically, since it's a part of waiting period already, so that in that scenario, the claim can get rejected, and claim in fact will get rejected. But if you make that claim beyond after you have served the waiting period, then obviously the claim will get honored. So this is one of the largest reasons, I would say, why a claim gets rejected, in most of the health insurance policies. And it's actually very important when you're buying a health insurance policy to understand what are the waiting periods in a health insurance policy. Primarily, there are...
Siddharth, do all health insurance policies have waiting periods, or is there a policy in which you can reduce the number of illnesses where you have a waiting period?
Sure. So I think that's a very important question, Alex. See, most of the health insurance, in fact, every insurance policy has a waiting period. Many offer the option of reducing the waiting period. So there are primarily 3 types of waiting period. One is the initial waiting period of 30 days, which is there in every policy, which means that except for accident, you can't claim in the first 30 days. So if you claim, then the claim is liable to be rejected. Then there's a second type of waiting period called as specific illness waiting period, or we call it as slow growing disease waiting period, which is majorly 2 years in almost across health insurance policies, which means that certain listed disease named illnesses like cataract, hernia, etc., which are slow growing in nature in the body, won't be covered till the first 2 years of the policy, beyond which they will be covered. And then the third is the pre-existing disease waiting period, which is now standardized since 1st of October across the products. It's 3 years now.
Okay.
So yeah, so you have the option of reducing those waiting periods, by opting for those covers. So that is there. So actually, that's a very important thing for any person to look at while purchasing a health insurance.
So when you do purchase this health insurance, this is something that you should speak to the insurer about. If you have, for example, if you have a family history of certain illnesses, perhaps you should look at those illnesses and, if possible, reduce the waiting period, particularly if you're in certain age groups, right?
Absolutely. So I think just one thing I want to highlight here, many of the now health insurance plans offer the option of reducing your waiting period to date 31st for largely common illnesses like asthma, BP, cholesterol, diabetes, high, if somebody has a high BMI, or even heart-related ailments. So from a 3-year, if you pay 15-20% extra premium, then you can bring down the waiting period from 3 years to day 31. In certain cases, it can be day 1 also from the next day. So it's a very useful feature for the consumer.
Okay, so you mentioned pre-existing conditions. What are the other reasons why a claim can get rejected?
So I think the second thing is, in certain cases, 2-3 other reasons which come in is in case of a non-disclosure. For example, if I am suffering from a certain illnesses, for example, I have a cancer. And I buy a health insurance policy and I don't declare it while filling out the proposal form, etc. And then I go and make a claim for cancer, wherein if there is an investigation and it's a non-disclosure, then in that scenario the insurance company can reject your claim. So I think it's very important while you are filling out a purchasing a health insurance plan that you disclose any current medical or lifestyle related habits or any past medical history, so that when insurance company is evaluating the proposal, they have all the information available with you, obviously, which is known to you. In certain cases, if something is inside the body and you don't know about it, then obviously, you can't mention it.
Okay, so that kind of answers the question that I had, which is if you are unaware of a situation, and you mentioned cancer, which is now becoming more prevalent, unfortunately, but the onset is sometimes something that you don't anticipate, and sometimes it's something that is not picked up. So in the event that you don't know about it, it's never showed up in any test, you will still be covered, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You will be covered. See, insurance is basically a promise between the consumer and the insurance company that, consumer declares everything what is known as per the consumer, and then insurance company covers for the, high risk event. So I think that is what is very important.
In terms of lifestyle habits that people tend to not disclose, I've met a lot of people that consume alcohol, that have the habit of smoking, that say that a month before they do their test or a month before they sign on with an insurer, they will not smoke. And they think that allows them to say that they don't smoke in their disclosure. Is that something that is a red flag that can cause problems down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. See, this can cause a problem because lifestyle-related habits like smoking, alcohol, or in certain cases, if somebody is taking anything, any other substance abuse as well, all those can lead to a healthy or a complicated health outcomes, which could obviously lead to a claim. And if it is obviously not disclosed in the right full manner, that can lead to a problem at the time of claim. Because see, at the first step itself, health insurance or any insurance for that matter relies on the fact that the disclosures have been made appropriately to the insurance company. And I think once you've made a disclosure, once the insurance company has taken into account those disclosures, then there is no reason that the claim can be rejected.
But Siddharth, the point that these people make is, how will the insurance company come to know if they are smoking 1 or 2 cigarettes a day after they have made that disclosure, when they've not smoked 1 month before? So it won't show up in the tests, even if the tests are done. That is the thinking that they have. Why is it that it gets caught? Is it to do with the doctors that do the tests that come up, the regular tests when you get admitted? In those events, when there is an emergency, they will say the likely cause of certain illness is because of consumption of these substances. Is that right?
Yeah, I think, Alex, you're spot on, because if somebody is used to certain lifestyle habits, and obviously they don't, for the short-term thinking or the short-term gain, don't disclose it right then and there itself. But at later point in time, if something comes up and when you go for a hospitalization, and if those are obviously related to the hospitalization cause, and show up in either the consultations or in the test reports, etc. If they show up, then insurance company can kind of reject the claim. So that is possible. So I think it's always advisable, and we advise all our customers to give the declarations upfront. No matter if if you smoke or if you consume alcohol, it's always better to declare it.
Okay. One last thing on this aspect is, if you have a situation where you have not disclosed it, it has come up in the tests, but the illness is not related to that, will your claim still be rejected because you lied in your disclosure?
So I think, see, if you've lied in your disclosure, this could be a scenario. Again, there's no straightforward yes or no answer to this, because since it's a multiple things which get connected with each other, that lifestyle habit may or may not have resulted into the cause of hospitalization. But I think the fundamental fact that if the person is not disclosed in the first place willingly, when I say willingly, I mean I already know about it and I haven't disclosed it, there could be a scenario that the insurance company may reject the claim.
Just an aspect, okay.